everyone, my name is Zai. Welcome back to my channel. And this, you want to introduce yourself? My first baby? This, I'm carrying her so awkward, is little Penelope, who also just had a birthday. She turned 2 years old and she's about to be a big sister. Big sister. So you guys will see Penelope walking around throughout this video. So today's video is actually going to be very exciting. I'm going to be updating you guys. I am 30 weeks pregnant and I'm basically going to be updating you guys just how like my pregnancy's been the last couple of weeks. I was going to make a second trimester video, but then I realized like in between the second and like the beginning of the third, there was just so much that changed that I just wanted to share it now, and I figured this would be like a great way to do so. I did write some notes. I have my handy dandy little notebook over here. I have a lot to say in this video. I'm going to be talking about symptoms, sleep, cravings, body changes, and possibly sex life. I don't know how I feel about putting that on the internet, but I did write some notes down for that as well. All right, let's get to it. I get a bunch of questions about how active the baby is in the womb area. I have always had an active baby, you guys, since like 17 weeks. Even before that, like even during like our ultrasounds when we would go in and see, the baby was always super active. And once I was able to feel the first flutters, it hasn't stopped since then. So baby has always been active. That's not always everyone's case. Everyone's body is completely different. So don't feel discouraged if you can't feel your baby as soon as 17 weeks as I did. I'd say around the second trimester I would feel flutters and then baby's kicks, usually at night once I was laying in bed or if I was sitting on the couch, just really anytime I wasn't up and about. But now I feel baby literally at any point in the day. Like it doesn't matter what time it is, I feel this baby like moving around, shifting. Yeah, I constantly am feeling baby move. Something that I actually had no idea about. I was like, what is this like feeling that's going on in my belly? 2 or 3 times a day, I'll feel, the best I can explain it is I'll feel like there's a little heartbeat in my stomach. And so I started researching what that was because it's kind of a weird feeling. It goes on for a really long time. I looked it up and it's actually the baby when it has hiccups. So when you feel that little sensation, like a little heartbeat sensation, it's actually the baby hiccuping in your stomach. And I just think it's so funny because every time it happens now I'm like, oh, baby got the hiccups. But yeah, something I never knew, and I was like, what is this like sensation? Why is it going on for so long? It happens literally at any point in the day. It happens several times a day. Something else that happens throughout the day, and it's especially weird when I'm working because I'm like moving back and forth, is I will literally feel like my stomach tighten. And that's because the baby starts like shifting around in my belly. And I especially feel it, like the baby has been sitting very high. So I'll definitely feel like how hard my stomach gets right up here. And it's literally as I'm doing just about anything and I have to stop. And sometimes I'll awkwardly laugh because I'm like, oh, it's just like such a weird feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. But when you first feel it, you're like, whoa. Even at 30 weeks, I will stop and it'll just catch me off my track. Like, I'm like, what are you doing in there? So yeah, I think that's it's a cool feeling, but it's definitely like a strange feeling. It was actually really funny because the other night I was laying in bed and the baby was doing its thing again and moving around in there. And I think it was its head, but I felt something really hard, like right at the top of my stomach. And I told Steven to feel it because it gets really hard. And he felt it and was like not expecting it to be so hard, and he literally screamed. We both started cracking up because he was just like so caught off guard with how tough my belly felt, and he's like, oh my god, he's like, I think I felt the baby's entire head, literally from the start to the end. But yeah, as far as baby being active, this baby is like constantly Constantly moving. Okay, we are going to talk about sleep. I know that may sound really random. I don't think I've heard people talk enough about how they sleep throughout pregnancy. It didn't get really difficult until I want to say the end of my second trimester. I do suggest getting a body pillow, a pregnancy pillow. Not everyone likes them. I find it to be extremely helpful. I love my pregnancy pillow. I'll link the one that I have specifically down below. That thing, literally the day that I got it, it has helped me so much. Was not comfortable at all using my regular just like head pillows. Like it just wasn't working for me anymore. I needed to feel hugged and supported, and that's exactly what the pregnancy pillow does for you. So obviously throughout pregnancy, your doctor is going to tell you that you need to stay hydrated constantly. They expect you to drink 3 liters of water daily. I'm pretty good at drinking my water, but I don't want to say that I'm that good at drinking that much water a day. So there will be days, of course I'm human, where I just chug a bunch of water throughout the night or like late at night. As much as I hate doing that, sometimes I just get super dehydrated and I feel like, you know, I have to drink water. But the worst part about doing that is, like, of course you're already regardless getting up. Like I get up maybe 3 to 5 times a night. Yes, I have the smallest bladder. Even prior to pregnancy, I've always had a really small bladder. So pregnancy just like made it so much worse for me. So I'm constantly getting up. The only difference though now, like if I do drink a ton of water right before bed, is I will wake up almost like in pain, because the second I roll out of bed, and I am not exaggerating, I will roll out of bed, I feel the pressure of the baby like on my bladder, and I run to the bathroom because it hurts. Not even because I have to go so bad, but because it hurts, and I know I have so much pee, I have so much urine inside of me. So that's the only downside of drinking so much water right before bed, is that it's already uncomfortable. You're already going up to go pee like 2 or 3 times a night, and that just makes it a whole lot worse. So I'm trying to get better at drinking water throughout the day so that that doesn't happen to me at night, and so that I'm not in pain. But just a heads up for you guys too, I try to avoid that because it's really just one of the most uncomfortable things. But I also want to add on to that, I've noticed that my body feels just heavier in general as I'm sleeping. Like when I wake up or when I'm tossing and I'm turning, like my belly just feels so much heavier than it does when I'm walking or doing other things throughout the day. I don't know why that is. I'm sure maybe one of you guys knows, but yeah, like tossing and turning, like I will have to be really slow, and sometimes I'll make those pregnancy noises where I'm like, and my husband's constantly like, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, I'm just trying to get comfortable. So I just tend to feel heavier at night. I don't know if that's just me or if that's you guys too, but that happens to me. Okay, we are going to talk very quickly about Charlie horses. I had no idea what that was, what that felt like. I'd never had one in my life. I don't know where that term comes from, because it's basically like a leg cramp. My husband gets them all the time. He's not pregnant, so it's like, I think it amplifies when you're pregnant, because I'd never gotten it before, but he gets them. So I never knew what they felt like, those leg cramps. He would always look like he was in so much pain when he would get them randomly throughout the day. They're usually caused because of lack of water. So if you're dehydrated, I would say that's the biggest cause. I also looked up being low on potassium. So sometimes if I know I haven't drinking enough water throughout the day, I'll have just like a banana randomly, just so that I can try to avoid getting those leg cramps, because let me tell you, the very first time I got it, I almost started crying. It hurt so bad. And what's really weird is now I'll actually like catch them mid-sleep. I'll like wake up, I'll be mid-sleep, and I will stretch out my foot going outward like this, and that pulls the muscle, so it causes the Charlie horse. As soon as I do that, I end up pulling my leg back, like my toes towards me, and that sort of removes the sensation, and it helps so that I kind of like avoid it. So that's what I've been doing lately. I don't know if I've been triggering it with like just stretching my legs, like, you know, like when you're in bed sometimes you just start stretching and stuff, and Because I'm like mid-sleep, I just do this with my leg and not even, I always forget that that kind of like triggers that leg cramp. So then I immediately pull it back. It totally stops it. So I get really lucky on that because I'm like, oh dang, like as soon as I do it, I know I triggered it. Something else that can really help with leg cramps or trying to avoid them is stretching daily. So I try and stretch every morning, just because it's also good for labor, positionings you're gonna be in. So I'm not always gonna be perfect at it, but that is something that will also help as far as avoiding those Charlie horses. So cravings isn't really a huge category for me. I've talked about this before. When it comes to cravings, I'm not like the what you expect type of pregnant woman. I don't have any weird cravings. Oh, look who's stretching. Do you guys see her stretch? It's so cute. Can you sit on my lap? She has been trying to get all the cuddle time that she can. You guys, she knows. She knows what's coming. She knows that there's someone else coming that's gonna take up my time. But anyways, as I was saying, I don't really have any weird cravings. Like, to be completely honest, what I've been craving more lately, so like my whole pregnancy, it's been fruit. I'll eat fruit with tahini, especially like when I'm feeling a little spicy, and I just want a little tang. I'll put some tahini on my fruit. But fruit, and I've always loved chocolate, but even like during, I would say, like my periods and stuff, like it was never something where I was like, oh my god, I have to have chocolate. But now, especially now, like I crave chocolate so much. Chocolate ice cream, chocolate bars, like it's fruit and chocolate. Literally, those are the two things where I'm like constantly craving it. I love it. I want it all the time. But since we're sort of on the food topic, if I happen to eat anything greasy or really, really heavy, this may not be true for everyone, but because I am like 5 foot and I have a very small torso, I'm a very petite person. Now, especially that I have something else invading my stomach, every time I eat something super heavy or super greasy, like if I have Popeyes or something with Steven, because he loves fried chicken, it always sounds like a good idea until afterwards, where I feel like I literally can't breathe because I feel so full. And that's the thing, is I feel like I can't eat as much as I used to, or at least the portion size. Like the portion size I've had to sort of like modify, because if I'm like eating, or if I'm just eating a bigger meal or something, like I said, fried chicken, something that's really gonna like fill up my stomach, I literally am like, I can't breathe. I'm breathing really, really heavy for a few hours after that, and I just feel super like uncomfortable. Like if I sit on the couch or do anything, like my body is just so uncomfortable because it just feels like I have no room in my stomach. I have a baby and now I got fried chicken and grease and like all these other things. Yeah, like if you, I don't know if, again, I don't know if that's true for everyone. I don't know if it's just because I have a really tiny torso and you know, baby's already like taking up all that space in there, but that's something that I have noticed when I do eat either bigger portion sizes or if I eat things that aren't necessarily good for me. All right, we're gonna move on to body changes, and at the end of the video I will show you guys my bump and just what it looks like right now. I'm almost 31 weeks pregnant. I haven't had any stretch marks yet, which I've actually found very surprising. None have appeared, and I've said before, like if they do, it's a part of growing a human inside of you. It really doesn't matter to me, but I have not had any stretch marks yet. I'm someone that's always loved to lather my body in lotion, and so I do have belly butter. So especially at night, like my nighttime routine is like my must routine. I always get into the shower and I literally lather my entire body with lotion, just because that helps me go to sleep. It helps relax me. Like that's just what I like to do. And so I also add on the belly butter. I think I use the Burt's Bees ones. I'll link it down below for you guys. Could be because I've been doing that's why I don't have any stretch marks, but regardless, I just like using it. I love lathering my belly. So I want to say around 23 weeks I started to get the linea nigra, which is basically just the like black line that goes down in your belly. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it, I was like pretty excited about it because I'm like, yay! Finally, I'm getting something to where like I look and feel pregnant, because you guys, most of my pregnancy, I have not had like any like major symptoms, any weird cravings. I'm like, can I just feel pregnant for once? And so when I got that, I was very excited. I know it sounds so lame, but I was very excited about it. So I did get that. It's not super dark, but you can see it, and like I said, I'll show you guys. I'll show it to you guys later, like at the end of the video. So shortness of breath pretty much comes with, I want to say everyone's pregnancy. Don't quote me on it, but I want to say like majority of women get shortness of breath. For me, I'm a walker. I love to walk. I love to take long walks, and I want to say around like the end of my second trimester, I was getting really frustrated because I was getting tired really, really fast. I was like, what's going on? Why am I tired so quick? Like I've walked maybe less than half of a mile, and I'm running out of breath and I'm cramping like crazy. Like, you know when you're running and then you get those cramps because either you drank too much water or you ate right before you started running? Those are the kind of cramps that I get. And I was getting really frustrated, so I asked my doctor about it. They said it's normal, that if it doesn't go away by the time you get home, like after your walk, then definitely call about it. But it would usually go away. Okay, come lay. Come lay. Yes, yes. But then I realized that the reason that my shortness of breath was sort of worsening was because I was low on iron. And so that's actually something else that I talked to my doctor about, and they said I was at a range where I didn't need to take iron supplements if I didn't want to, only if I felt like I for some reason needed to, or if I felt really, really tired, but instead of that, I should just modify my diet. So basically eat things with more iron, like broccoli, oranges. I was looking up a couple things, like I bought dried, is it apricots or apricots? I think that's what I'm trying to say. Basically just modified my diet to supplement that, and that's actually really helps me a lot. So I would definitely suggest, you know, obviously talk to your doctor. But if it's something as simple as modifying your diet, then definitely do that. It really hasn't been that hard for me, other than eating vegetables. You know, I was a big veggie lover before pregnancy, and then pregnancy came, and I just like the veggie aisle. Every time I go grocery shopping, I always tell Steven, I'm like, that's all you, dude. And me, I'm all about the fruit. Yeah, that's something else with the shortness of breath that I have that made it worse. But now I've gotten better. I can go for longer walks, which feels so nice, but I definitely don't push it. All right, let's talk about nipples real quick. So nipples. Your nipples will get larger and darker. I don't really care about it. The only person that sees my nipples are my husband, and he's fine. He doesn't care about it. For some time, they did get really sensitive to where like I would not let him touch my nipples. I'm like, don't touch them. They're super sensitive. And it was like a painful sensitive, but like that's, I'm trying to remember now. This is why I hate waiting so long to talk about these things. I don't want to say it was super painful, but it was just like, I don't want you touching my nipples. Like just leave my nipples alone. Like, don't touch them. Yeah, I would say that was the only annoying part about it. I feel like they're back to normal as far as sensitivity, but they're definitely, you know, dark and large. But that's just a part of being pregnant and getting ready to have a baby. Okay, I'm gonna dive in. That was not a good transition. I'm going to talk about the sex life really quick. Everyone's experiences are so different. I'd never wanted to have sex. I think in the first trimester it was because I was just going through so many changes hormonally, and I always felt bloated. I never felt sexy, like all the things. That's really why I didn't want to my first trimester. And then the second half of my trimester was because of, why was that? Oh, because I just never felt like it. I just never wanted to do it. But that's not to say we didn't, but I was just never like, yeah, let's have sex. Like that was just never on my mind. So now it's actually really weird because I was thinking it would be the opposite, but now I'm definitely more like, our sex life has gotten back to normal. I've definitely gotten better initiating it. and helping him out in that department. In the beginning it was really, really hard because I just never wanted to. I was always tired and then I just felt blah all the time. When you don't feel sexy, like you just don't want to do it. You know, that's the thing. If you don't have a man that makes you feel sexy, even when you got a big old belly, like, you need to find a new man. I will say he's very good at that. He always makes me feel beautiful and he always makes me feel like nothing's really changed. Another thing obviously that I will say is that, like, the bigger you get, the positioning has to change. Bump app actually at one point during my pregnancy gave me an article about different sex positions. I'm like, this is awesome. So me and him actually, we looked through that and that was pretty funny. This is just what happens. Like, you're not always gonna be up for sex. Your hormones are gonna change. Things are gonna, like, everything's going to change. And that is completely okay, because I'm sure just as well your partner understands that this is something new for you as it is for them, especially it being your first baby if it's your first baby. So definitely don't beat yourself up about it. I did for a while. All right, guys, it's time for a bump date. I gotta get this little peanut off me because she's on my lap. Oof. Hey, sleepiness. Why don't you pick yourself up? Why are you... Excuse me, can you pick yourself up? She's just gonna fall back. Penelope! Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Quick belly update, by the way. I'm wearing biker shorts, so I'm probably gonna have some lines. So this is what the belly looks like right now. This line is just from my biker shorts. I don't know if you guys can see the linea nigra. This is what I look like from the side. So baby's still pretty high up. Been high up pretty much this entire pregnancy. And then now my belly's poking out. But yeah, of course I almost forgot to mention this, but I haven't really had swelling. A little bit on my feet, like I couldn't even tell a little bit, and on my hands I've noticed. That's why I'm not wearing my wedding ring right now, is because I actually tried putting it on before this video and I was like, uh-oh, it's getting stuck. So I guess I am swelling on my hands and I just didn't realize it, and I haven't been able to put on my wedding ring, which it kind of scares me because we have our maternity shoot coming up and I want to have it on. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'm going to end the video on that note. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on my next video. Bye, guys.